Hello, everybody. This is Warren from the Rhapsody Piano Studio. That is. Welcome to today's live lesson. We're going to be learning Carol of the Bells. This is going to be for intermediate piano. And if you're watching this after the live stream is over, make sure you pick up a copy of the sheet music. It will be included in all of the links. So just check all the links. That's where you get the sheet music. And yeah, that's it. That's it for sheet music. Make sure you follow along with sheet music because that's how I primarily teach. If you're doing it by ears, technically not impossible. Definitely a lot harder and not something I do very well. All right, so just do whatever you want with that. Hey Morgan, how's it going? Long time no see. All right, I hope everyone had a really great Christmas. Looking forward to having a good New Year's, just count your blessings in life. And I guess I will see you guys in 2021 after this lesson is over, right? Okay, this is Carol of the Bells. I'm going to teach you how to learn this song and also a process on, practicing correctly that you can use for really any song and any level and whatever music it is you're practicing. Okay. Basically the first entire page, and as you can hear, it is a bit repetitive. Yes, this is a bit late, but oh well, happy day after Christmas, right? It's still a good one to learn. As you can tell, it's pretty repetitive in the right hand. And I'll just give you some things to be thinking about when you're playing this, but one thing is to practice it sectionally, okay? So sections tend to repeat. And it's also easier to practice it that way instead of just doing the whole entire song from beginning to end. Usually not a really good way to practice, okay? So here, it does that for basically the first four measures, and it just hops up to an octave higher. So this is not going to be hard in itself. It's just repetitive. You got to be careful to play those eighth notes evenly, though. Sound real quick, see if we're all good with that. Cool. All right, I just got this new mic I'm testing out. Hopefully you guys appreciate that and like it. Because you don't want it to turn into and a faster tempo that might not be so even, okay? First thing you're gonna practice in the right hand here. After that, the jump, okay? So one way to practice it is just literally take that last note, which is your thumb on G, and just do that many times as you need. Because basically what you're doing here is practicing muscle memory, okay? So the more you can just get into your muscles, the less you have to think about it. Then the next jump, ending on the thumb again, but this time you have two notes to hold on to here. So see that? So again, first time going up to the B, then from G to those two notes. Now here it's a little difficult because it's like a little sub melody on the bottom, and you have to hold that while keeping the rhythm in the right hand at the same time. It's not an easy thing to pull off actually. You use a little pedal here to connect it. Even using a 5, that might not really be a kind choice either, so maybe use a 4. The only problem is when it gets to here, it's kind of awkward to use a 4, so I do use a 5. But these three fingers is going to be really hard to play that evenly, so do whatever you can with that part, okay? So holding that and not being tense at the same time. Now getting into the next part, same thing, but now it's like doing this, but they're doubling some of these notes. Going from here to here is a little difficult because you have to make sure the third finger is separated before you get to the next chord because it's a repeated note, see? So that part is a little awkward. So I don't know how long you can hold that for. If you use pedal, you can create that illusion that it's connected legato, okay? If you don't use pedal when you're practicing, make sure this is shorter, but not a staccato. That doesn't sound good, right? Just... Alright, so those are the main difficulties in this first entire page. Work that out sectionally if you want. So you can basically do the first line with that jump, same thing here. Down to there, okay? And this part, this next 4 measures you could just practice by itself. Alright, and then this. Going on to the next page, okay? Left hand. A little bit more straightforward. So what to practice there? This jump to the octave. See that? From 4. You use 5 if you want. This is what you need to practice. Now from here, there's a lot of finger legato, meaning finger pedal legato. Legato is what you call it, right? If you can reach, this is not too hard, right? To reach from 1 octave to the next. Then you do a 2 here. This is what I'm doing here. I'm creating legato by switching my fingers. See that? So 2 becomes a 1. That way you don't need pedal. Then from here, fairly straightforward. And here, it's not too bad. I use a 1 so I could reach the octave lower on that D a little easier. And then if we look at the next page, right. So this is not too bad because you have they're all dotted half notes, so you have a lot more time to reach those jumps, okay? But the first one in the beginning again, it's kind of difficult, okay? So if you were to practice this, so maybe just that. Now we're going to both hands. So it's doing that a whole bunch of times, okay? Then go back to the first measure and put this little, we're gonna call it a chunk together, right? And do a lot of slow practice in the beginning if necessary. Next part. That's not too bad. So you can do the next 8 measures or so if you want. Now here, no difficulty in the left hand really, but that jump in the right hand. Alright, I'm continuing here. The little other measure transition to practice here. Okay. Another jump here. So if you think about it, the difficulty isn't within the measures themselves, but it comes at the end of those measures. Every time that transition. So 4 measures at a time is pretty even. So that 4th measure, anytime we have these difficulties, is where it happens on the 4th measure, connecting to the next chunk. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, I'm just going to give you the whole entire page one more time. See if that increases your understanding of it, and if needed, you can just do a lot of hand separate practice if you want. Hand separate or note by note work here, because if you're at the intermediate level, then it's not necessary for me to teach you note by note. That means you shouldn't be playing intermediate music, okay? And that's really not an insult. So you just drop down to some easier music, do some easy level repertoire until your note reading gets to that level, okay? Because if you're able to play this, but you're not able to read it, then your reading is far behind, and it didn't take that much time to catch up. It's hard. It's weird to get started reading. It's not a really intuitive process, but when you get started reading, then it's not a hard fix. Okay, so I trust me, you want to get that under control. Reading the sheet music and reading music notes. Okay. So here, I'm just going through the main difficulties of this song, that you're going to need to practice some technical suggestions here and there as well. But when you get this down, like these ideas, and I'm kind of giving you a little shortcut method, which is good, not to waste your time. So you know exactly where the difficulties are. Then you can use my tutorial, which will be included in the links as well. After the lesson's over, just click all the links. And tutorials are kind of more individual way of practicing, because here I'm spelling out all the difficulties, and the tutorial you can just practice on your own. You can just skip to the sections you want. You could also slow down the playback speed, right? I suggest not making it faster than it already is, okay? You can do hand separate practice. You can play along with the video. So a lot of different ways you can practice using the tutorials, okay? All right, so go ahead and check that out. All right, and if you're liking this video, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed, and hit the notification bell so you can catch all these tutorials and all the lessons that are coming out on a weekly basis. All right, let's keep it going. Sometimes these notes don't come out. The action, the regulation on my piano is not too good. Little older instrument, but I'm not going to complain. So you might occasionally not hear some repeated notes, okay? All right, we're going to take that first 8 measures. Left hand, just a bunch of chords. So that's not too difficult. The difficulty is in the right hand. I don't find this too terribly difficult repeating on the 5th finger. Although you can do 5/4, because you want to create a legato whenever possible. Although there's a lot of repetitive stuff, repeated notes here. Here, I definitely don't use the same finger, okay? I'll do 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, and then here it's just. You can use some pedal here, because that is just an arpeggio. Same thing here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make these as legato as possible, because it's still a melody. Same thing here. I guess you could just do 4, 4. Okay, don't go too overkill on those repeated notes, right? 4, 4, and then here. It's just like a few notes, but if you make those legato, it really does help the melody a lot. Even my corgi agrees, right? Now here, repeat it again. 3, 2, 1, 2. Then here, some more repeated notes. Then moving down. Okay. That's where that song starts, right? So listen to it one more time. We'll go a little bit slower, okay? And basically, I have to practice right there. Not too difficult there. Keeping it going. I just like using a second finger here on the black key. It helps the sound, because sometimes people use a thumb. Thumbs sort of our most clumsiest finger, so it's better to use second finger here, I think. Now here, practice this without pedal. If your finger control is not there yet, you need a little bit more technical practice. This is going to be very difficult. Maybe even just do this a few times. It's always a good idea to, wherever you have difficulties, make it into an exercise. But I'm not using any pedal. You should be able to do this. Of course, at a faster speed, it's a little bit more difficult, right? So another thing too is to practice at a speed that's more appropriate for yourself. You don't have to go with the same speed that I'm playing here. Now here. That's what I'm doing here. I like this fingering. 1, 4, and then 4, 2, 1, 3. And it's cool. You hear this line go to the top. I like to hold it. If not, just holding it with my finger. At least use some pedal here. Because I like hearing that going to the top. Okay. Left hand's not too bad. A lot of notes in the left hand, so you don't really need too much practice on that, okay? Going to the next measure. Take this with the thumb, and then you see that in the sheet music, it's in parentheses because they're both playing the same note. So you don't have to do this. That's not a good idea. Just let the thumb start it, like so. Then same idea here. Okay, then the beginning theme comes back, this thing again. Now we have chords. And it's just descending in thirds. See that? That's that pattern. First potential part where it's a little bit difficult technically. Now we're playing all these in triplets. Sorry. If you go at a faster speed, now you want to avoid making it sound like a technical thing, right? So what I would practice first is just think of it as a scale going up. Okay, so when it's smoothly connected, then do those triplets, okay? It's important to make this sound good. Now, I like just make it all legato. Although, if you want it to sparkle a little bit, I guess you can make it a little non-legato. There's many ways to interpret this, but I just like doing it all legato. Okay. Then moving down. Sorry, it's going down in thirds here. So. Not too bad. Here, I like this part. Cool little jazzy section there, okay? Now, it doesn't indicate it, but I like a little swing here. Because you want to make it more jazzy, okay? It's hard to pedal these. So the left hand is going to have a little separation because it's hard to make it all legato because you want that last note to sound like a staccato. If you add pedal, it makes it longer, right? But maybe that's what you're going for too. If you use a little pedal here. Which is cool too, but I prefer making it all detached. Okay, so here, that's not too difficult, but the connecting that is kind of difficult. Like what we were talking about before in the previous page, making that legato. So these are just two notes. Might not be a big deal, but think of it as a two-note slur. So I'm thinking like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. See that? If you do this with the motion, sometimes you let gravity help you a bit. And then you can turn into a little exercise if you want. Back up here, this thing again. Here you can do in 2-4 and take this with 5-3. A little awkward to get up to here, squeezing that third finger in between the black keys, so be careful. Then a jump. So it's just that theme going, that little pattern, like going up and down these little octaves. So definitely practice the jumps here if you need it. The next jump. Okay, then when you have that all down, we have this there, back and forth, or up and down, goes up a little higher, and then back to, that's pretty straightforward after that. Left hand, not so much going on, just like most of this arrangement, not too many difficulties in the left hand, so it's just, it seems like, in the beginning, it's like you're holding the bottom note, and it's just that top line going down. Kind of same thing going on here in the left hand. So instead of holding this as a tie now, you're just basically repeating all the notes on a downbeat. And then I took this with the pinky, but it's probably better with a different finger. That little pattern, okay? Now I'll play the whole entire section for you again. Definitely, I think this is the most difficult part. The entire arrangement. There are some other spots here and there still a little difficult, but I think this is where you're gonna mainly be practicing. Okay. So sectionally, that's about it. So in the beginning, we had the. You think of that as a first section, then the next section. And then still within the same section, you have a little contrast with this melody. Just pointing this out because if you divide it and if you plan out your sections, you know, like a plan, that's gonna help you help you not waste so much time when you're practicing, be more efficient. And then we have the going into the jazzy middle section. So definitely, just organize your practice around those different sections you're going to be doing. And then we just have the coda, okay? So coda here. This is the most awkward. I remember this now. This is really awkward. You're gonna use some pedal to connect this. To really let go of that third, with your third finger, the black key right here, it's gonna be a little bit choppy because you can't make this legato because it's the repeated note. I'm sorry, get out of the way here, dog hair. Okay. See that? So you can connect this legato, but this is gonna sound kind of choppy. You want to try to hide that with the pedal as much as possible. That's the difficulty there. Here, I love that pattern. So we have triplets on the first beat. I have a triplet here. So that's the main pattern. It's really cool. And then left hand is just repeating on the D. And then left hand just going down in chromatics, while the right hand is going up in chromatic. Another place to practice it, it's going to be difficult technically because it's chromatic scales and they also want you to do it in triplets. So like I was saying before, depending on what you're going for, maybe you do it a little non-legato if you want to make it sparkle, but I like connecting a legato. So just think of it as a scale and practice it like this first. This is chromatic scale. Then with the thirds, or not thirds, triplets. Okay, make it clean. Fun to play. Yeah. See that? Okay, a lot of different ways to practice these types of patterns too. Like you could just go same speed and just go to the downbeat. Also another valid way to practice, you could do little dotted rhythm. You could reverse it. Okay, so you know I like that. Do a little variety. Trying to practice the same thing in different ways is a really good way to practice. Scientifically, it works really well as too. Okay, now here, if you could take a little extra care with that. With the grace note here, makes it sound really beautiful because that doesn't sound good. And then you have to be careful, you still need the voice towards the top note here. So this is just a decoration. Then this wonderful G minor 9 chord at the end. pianissimo, try to play as soft as possible. It's really hard to play soft on this piano, but if you can really get that out, you want to think of that last chord as the softest dynamic in the entire song. So let me go like maybe mezzo piano and piano. Another good way to practice on an old instrument, by the way, is just make the dynamics one level higher. And that's pretty much it for this entire arrangement. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. It's a pretty good arrangement. I like it. Especially that little jazzy part in the beginning or in the middle section. My dogs are going crazy out there. Yeah. So, like I was saying, just showing you the difficult parts, basically a lesson, like it says, right? How to practice this, okay? If you need some help on learning how to read music, make sure you check out my other live streams for that. I have links usually everywhere. Some tools that can help you, like flashcards and things like that as well. Just look around for those on my channel. And yeah, after you're done with this lesson, if you know the difficult parts, then you don't have to waste your time. And you go click on over to the tutorial, and then you can practice that however you want. Like I was saying, just whatever sections you're looking at, and slowing it down, doing hands separate, repeating, maybe fast forwarding. Yeah. Whereas like I just go from the beginning to the end straight in these lessons. The tutorials you could just practice however you want. So go ahead and check that out. Each and every one of these lessons has a companion tutorial, vice versa. Okay. So hope you enjoy that. Yeah, and I'll see you guys for the next one. If you like this video, hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you subscribe, catch all the notifications, and hit that notification bell so you can see when I go live on these lessons and live streams and my tutorials. I got a lot of content coming out every single week. You don't want to miss any of it, okay? Thank you guys. Have a great New Year's and see you in 2021. Happy practicing. My dog says happy practicing too. See? All right, see you guys later.